let's find out, because when you do Instagram's new little like treasure, they're always really excited to boost it for free. So we'll find out what that is. So hey everybody, very nice to be back here for Q&A. And I was saying that like when people are, sometimes my kids go with, are like hardcore homeschool energy, go to the park and want to be best friends with all of these kids that aren't used to, that are used to prison conditions. And sometimes the kids can be like really mean and be like, I don't want to play with you. And when this happens, I always just invent a better game and get really involved in playing the game. And the other moms at the park hate this. Like they're like, "Oh my God, momming too hard." Like, but that's fine because then their kids want to play. And my like go-to game at the playground is coffee shop. Like, oh, and pick up some trash off the floor. I'm so thirsty. I wish someone could make me a coffee. The kids always want to play coffee shop. But when kids are nasty to my kids at the park, I make a better game. And then those kids have to come crawling back and ask to play games with us over here. But this only works when kids are small, because no matter how much I want to be cool, and when kids get a little bit older, adults are just like not cool. And when that happens, sometimes you just have to trust that nature is finding its own way of kids learning how to either give a direct no or receive a direct no. And anybody who has ever raised kids can tell you that, like, your role as a parent is to teach kids no. You don't want to have, and I know people don't like disciplining their kids or whatever, they confuse discipline with punishment. They're totally different things. Punishment is wanting somebody to suffer the way that you suffered, and discipline is like a quick corrective action. So for example, you made my day unpleasant by blowing up on the plane. Now you're going to do something to make my day pleasant. So it's a corrective action. It's a way of circling back and making something right that was disrupted by a behavior situation. But your job is to teach kids how to take a no, because if you don't know how to take a no, like, I'm not saying your kid's going to grow up and be a rapist, but the importance of no is something that we want to instill in our children. But also, it's one of the hardest things to teach a kid, is that like when somebody says no, like it's a no. Kids are kind of the best teachers for other kids. And so when kids are being mean to each other, trust that they're on the path of learning how to say no, which is a good thing for them to say no and have it be respected. And that your kid is also learning how to receive a no and have it be respected as well. And just on that note, like Gurdjieff was a big part of, I love Gurdjieff's commentary on education, but he said that, and I think that this is really valid because I use it with adults as well, that nobody learns directly. Like it's very rare that you can teach somebody like, hey, this is pertinent to you. This lesson is for you. Log it in and learn from it. People do a lot better when they're being taught indirectly. So that's what my podcast, The Intuitor, does, is that I'm teaching indirectly. I'm like, oh, we're just talking about Lana Del Rey. But actually, we're talking about the world of addiction and sobriety. And, Lana Del Rey, my Lana Del Rey episode was the one that made me want to stop doing Intuitor, because I contemplated her lyrics, which ended up not having anything to do with her actual life. I was like, oh, she's an alcoholic, but actually she's been sober for like a million years. And now I think Lana Del Rey is super talented, but I'm really bothered that somebody that's sober is like singing to people about the joys of drinking, because it's not. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit starting today about propaganda. And I was hoping that my son was going to be here with me today. Because I love teaching him. He's very interested in war as well, and why war happens. And this is kind of like where we've been having a lot of discussions around colonization, war, conflict in general, and what the repercussions of that are, what the ramifications are, what the spiritual reasons behind it are, concept of good, bad, right, and wrong. But World War II was a very significant war, because it was the first war that was won on mainly propaganda. And this idea of like, how could you get an entire country of people believing this like really insane thing? It's the same concept of when people are like, oh, I don't know how you could just wake up and put a needle in your arm and become a junkie. Like, that's not how the path to becoming a junkie goes. And from like regular German to like Aryan race, eugenics, genocide, that wasn't from one day to the next. It happened gradually, a little bit at a time. And propaganda had never really been used on that scale before. A little bit here and there, but more like, if you guys watch, I loved the last season of House of the Dragon because they were talking about propaganda using people in the town square, you know, master of whispers, sowing little seeds of discontent, and then a movement happens from the bottom up as opposed to the top down. You know, no matter how much people are like, oh, the rich control everything, the ground floor of society is much larger than that 1% upper crust. And if they keep the bottom floor fighting with each other, then there's no chance to actually topple the hierarchy because they're so busy fighting each other. This is also why drugs are pumped into that ground floor, why systems like welfare are designed to keep people that are on that ground floor. It's like, you can have this as long as you never surpass this. You can have a welfare check as long as there's not a father figure in the children's life. So get rid of the father figure, we'll give you money instead. And all of these things are designed to keep the ground floor on the ground floor and to keep them arguing with each other, because you cannot have anything on an unstable base. So World War II really went in on the ground floor, and hate and love are two sides of the same coin. And it is a lot easier to motivate people with love for a charismatic teacher than hate for the opponent. But if you can get somebody to love you as a politician, Donald Trump is, to me, the best propaganda artist since Hitler. I'm not comparing Trump to Hitler, and I'm not saying evil and evil. I'm saying when it comes to the game of propaganda, no one has played it better than Trump since Hitler. So the ground floor absolutely loved Hitler. So when Hitler's like, and Hitler was coming in with messaging of like, Germany the Great, we got super screwed over in World War One. We're going to bring pride back to Germany, and everybody could get down with that. So think about like, bring pride back to Germany and make America great again. It's a message of love and patriotism, and we've been oppressed, but we're coming back. And so easy for people to grab onto that. You know, who wouldn't want that? So you churn up this big force of love, and then whoever's an enemy of mine becomes an enemy of yours. So people didn't hate Jews, they loved Hitler. And Hitler cooked up his propaganda campaign for a very long time before the genocide of the Jews ever came into place. There was a very long time of creating this political fervor. And on this note, Hitler wrote the book My Struggle while he was in prison. This is a great lesson from the Black magicians. Hitler was imprisoned for revolting, for not playing according to the rules. He was like, let's overthrow this. Let's do this illegal thing. Let's inspire this mutiny. The same reasons that Nelson Mandela was in prison. Nelson Mandela caused quite a scene, not even as much as his wife, Winnie, who was, you know, killing other Soweto 14-year-old kids doing something called necklacing. There's like literally the wife of Nelson Mandela. Everyone's like, Nelson Mandela, peace king. His wife was literally, the wife's bodyguard was an informant for the police, but she was like, while Nelson Mandela was in prison, thought everybody else was. And and this is like Soweto, like this is Black people. It's not tribal Black people. It's not white people. It's not apartheid. She thought that like everyone was an informant and was having people killed left and right, including a 14-year-old boy named Stompy. And her method of killing people was something called necklacing, where you put a rubber tire over somebody's head and shoulders and fill it with gasoline and light it on fire. Don't make a clip that pure. Like insane, insane. And we wouldn't connect Nelson Mandela with anything like that. But, you know, war is war, conflict is conflict. And Nelson Mandela was jailed and had to learn a different way of inspiring people to change without breaking the rules. And Hitler was also jailed and had a lot of time to contemplate how he wanted to play by the rules. So if you're frustrated because you have a message that you want to share with the world and you're getting banned on social media every time you talk about it, everybody has to play by the rules. The universe is very rarely going to ask you something that's going to cost you your freedom And I'm pretty sure you always have a choice. There's always another way around it. But I don't think that the universe gets that much from you being in jail. There's lessons to be learned everywhere, but I think that you can avoid prison, or you can become one of the stories of people that wrote them, their big story in prison or found a new way in prison, but that doesn't have to be you. So but Hitler tried it a different way first. He tried it the non-propaganda way, went to jail and was like, you know what, I'm going to try this a propaganda way because it plays by the rules. And propaganda is like a fart, like in a crowd. You don't really know where it came from. So once you have inspired enough love, you guys really have to know this because it's happening to us left, right, and center right now. And I'm seeing people get really wrapped into it. And the reason why I'm giving you such a history of how this works is so that you're going to be able to identify it and have a reaction to it that's yours, not a reaction that you've been given by somebody else who doesn't care about how you feel, who wants you enlisted in their movement, fighting a war that's not yours. You have the right to fight in any war that you want, but make sure the cause is yours, because I'm telling you, in this day and age, you don't know what you're an agent of. So back then, and this is relevant when we talk about, people come to me all the time and said, I want to do a business without social media. And I say, okay, if you're going to do a business without social media, you're going to want to use local advertising. So the same way that we would run ads on social media or make graphics, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make posters and you're going to put them up where people can see them in your local area. Now, there was not social media back then. So Hitler and this, they did the same thing in China with communism. Posters depicting the future that could be possible for you. And then those started to change into what the future might look like if we don't take action against a specific group of people. And Hitler referred to this process as Hammerschläge, which means hits of the hammer. His belief, which was very informed by other psychological experts at the time, like Freud. This was very informed with a series of occultists that he was working with. And something interesting, I have this book called Hitler and the Occult, or maybe Nazis and the Occult. And there were so many people, this is just, a sidebar on the concept of objective good and evil. There were so many different occultists that met Hitler and were committed to, hi honey, I'm working, you gonna work with me? I'm gonna be riding on my four-wheeler. Oh honey, have a great time riding on your four-wheeler, my love. I love you so much. Okay, honey, thank you. I'm over here. I'll be riding on my four-wheeler. All right, kid. Rip it up, kid. There were so many occultists that met Hitler for the first time and were like, oh my God, you're the one that I've been receiving premonitions about. Not you're the one that I've been receiving premonitions about and you're going to positively impact the world. Occultist saying you're going to have an impact on the world. I'm not categorizing it as good or evil. You're doing something that's going to create a shift in humanity for the rest of humanity. And I'm here to help you. This was super disturbing to me when I first came across it. Like, wow, so crazy that all of these different occultists and magicians were like, oh my God, you are the person that I've heard about and I'm compelled to help you. I'm not going to go deeply into that. I'm just going to say that it was disturbing for me when I first heard that. How could these signals be put out in the universe and other people tapping into it and saying, yes, let's keep this thing moving along? So Hitler did a lot of local advertising, and that was how the propaganda campaign that became World War II was enacted. He called it Hammerschläge, which was basically the belief that if you keep hitting someone over the head with a hammer with the same imaging and the same messaging over and over and over again, that they will eventually start to believe it, that it does not matter, what their original beliefs are or were, that if you simply show them messaging over and over again in their face, that they will believe it. It doesn't matter if that messaging is true or not. It doesn't matter if that messaging checks out or not. All you have to do is keep showing it to people in their face. Now, I want to ask you something. How many times do you see, let's say the closest sign to you is your local stop sign. How many times do you see the nearest stop sign to you a day? maybe 5, 6, 10. How many images do you see on Instagram every time you open up your phone? How many times do you look at your phone in a day? 100, 200, 1,000? How many impressions are you taking in? If a World War II grade movement was enabled on very inconsistent compared to now posters and images, imagine how much real estate is available now with something that's continually on your phone. It doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are. It doesn't matter what your convictions are. Hamashliga, just repetition in your face. That's it. The word propaganda comes from the word propagate. And when I propagate a plant, I have a larger plant, a larger agenda. And I'm not saying that there's one agenda behind anything. If there's one agenda, it would just be to destabilize the ground floor. We're in the ground floor, by the way. To propagate a plant, there's a bigger plant, a very large organism. And what you do is you take a little piece off of it and you put it into very fertile conditions. For example, pure water, where it can grow roots very, very fast. So you take this idea, this little offshoot from a larger idea. It's not the bigger idea. Let's remove all of these people. It's just a little plant, so you can't really tell where it's coming from. And you put it in very fertile conditions. Let's imagine that for some reason, the algorithm would like every single celebrity to be speaking out about something specific. What if we filtered this one little offshoot of a plant to just be shown to the blue check marks of social media? And let's just see what happens. Let's just hamishliga this one thing. Is there a chance that everybody, without even being asked to do it, would repost it or would share it? And if the celebrities are doing it, who's going to do it next? It doesn't take that long for you to feel like everyone is talking about something and that you're an idiot if you're not able to keep up in this conversation. You're the last person that doesn't know about it and you'll be excluded. Once that plant has been put into very fertile conditions, like pure water, it grows its own root system. And then you can take that little plant and you can put it anywhere and it's going to grow like wildfire. This is the era that we live in now. This is the propaganda era. And there is a way to be completely in it without being of it. You do not have to cover your eyes. You do not have to pretend that something isn't going on. But the whole purpose of it is to elicit a reaction in you that is not your own and to make you a fervent patriot for a cause that is not your own. And this is easier to do than ever. All it takes is repetition. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what your history is. All it takes is your attention plus repetition. And you know what? Don't even worry about the attention part because it's designed to be grabby. It's designed to take you and pull you in. Now, I've gotten got by propaganda before, and it really sucked. The most important thing to me is my spiritual growth, the depth of my surrender to what is absolute. This is the number one priority in my life. This comes before my relationship with my family and my kids, because I can't be a good mom and I can't be a good wife and I can't be of service to the world if I'm not in alignment here. And if something is constantly pulling me away from the truth, what is the truth? We're all one. What's pulling me away? It's us versus them. And I've been enrolled in that ground floor fight that can effectively stop me from being a unifying force in the world. from being an enlightened force in the world, from saying, hey, we can't fight if we're on the same side. We can't fight if we're on the same side. How many people, how many relationships have you lost because they said one wrong thing that conflicted with the morals that you hold so dear? And now I want to ask you, are you sure those morals were yours? Are you sure that anger was yours? Are you sure? Morals are mandatory. Everyone gets them from somewhere. But honor is voluntary. And my honor is that I want to not put my heart into everything I do. I want to put everything that I do into my heart. Regardless of who you are that comes to me, I want to take you in my hands like a little baby. And I want to put you in here, that I have space in here for you. That I have space for you to say the wrong thing. For I have the space for you to be awkward. I have the space for you to not know what a boundary is. I have the space. I don't need to shut everybody out. Oh, you're triggering me over here. Oh, you trigger me. I want space for everyone in here. How many friendships have you lost because someone said something that conflicted with your morals and you're like, now it's got to end. You posted this shit on social media. I'll never forget this. I'll never forgive you. That's it. You're done. You're one of them. You're one of them. Oh, line in the sand. Me and my people over here. You and your people over there. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So the truth is oneness. What distracts you from that truth is a belief that these are conditions that remind you that there truly is evil and there truly is good. And anyone speaking out about anything is either on their side or your side. If your spiritual growth is important to you, you need to have your eyes super open right now. You need to have your eyes super open right now, because all wars from here on out will be fought with propaganda. Propaganda is something that inspires a mass movement to go in a direction they had not planned in going. Something that literally, it's somebody else's agenda, it's not yours. And if you find yourself fighting and angry and reactive, you're being worked. You're being worked by somebody who knows more about this than you do. Propaganda is black magic at the most common level. We will see black magic more in propaganda than anything else. You can't tell where the plant's from. Hey, when did this thing start growing here? Oh, it was a whole plan. It was a whole plan. It was cut off from a bigger plant. It was put in very fertile conditions, and it was planted in very specific zones where it took off like wildfire. You might be seeing the offshoot, but I guarantee you it's coming from a bigger plant. And you need to be aware of this. If going on social media is making you feel tense, if it's making you feel reactive, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling drained, if you feel like you've been fighting and it's going nowhere, you're being worked. So where's your paycheck? So what's the correct way to be in a world that's full of propaganda? Open eyes, open heart. Let it pass right through. If you see something that is causing a big reaction for you, pause on that. Say to yourself, this image is giving me a very big reaction right now. Pause and analyze it before it just takes root. I went into this feeling really calm. Now I feel very stressed out. Now I feel apathetic. Now I feel like no matter what we do, it's not going to be enough. Now I feel like humanity is a cancer on the planet. Now I'm feeling really tired. Now I'm so aggravated that they're not speaking or they're not speaking or they're not speaking. And now I'm pissed. This image made me feel really pissed. And just be with that. And just be with that. You're never going to be able to do forward moving work in your own life without a surplus of force, a surplus of energy. Everything needs a lot of care in the beginning to grow. Propaganda needs to go in a very fertile condition to develop that root system. Your business plan, your spiritual work needs to develop a very good root system. And the fertile soil for that is a surplus of your energy. You want to be feeling on a regular basis like you've had a good night's sleep. Energy to create, energy to be inspired. This is not possible if your reserves are constantly being depleted by things that you've seen, by other people and their shit. Imagine you work so hard to build up your spiritual work and you run into someone in a bad mood that does no spiritual work and they completely wipe you out and you're done. You say, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore. What the fuck is humanity? What kind of person does this? Don't they know who I am? Your entire spiritual growth became contingent on somebody that doesn't care about you or this kind of work at all. And that's not fitness. That's not emotional fitness. That's not strength. You need to be able to absorb it and let it go. You need to be able to put it in your heart and say, I have space for you to be in a bad mood. But just because you're in a bad mood doesn't mean I've lost all my energy for the day. I don't need humanity to be perfect. I can focus on myself. To have this level of resilience, you have to be somebody that is not super reactive. You can't be like a car in Mexico City that doesn't have a solid alarm system. And anytime something goes by, you can't, you gotta be a little bit, you gotta be able to get jostled a little bit. The spiritual path is not about creating a padded room where we're not jostled. It's about being able to throw yourself off of the rockiest cliff and go clunk, clunk, clunk and hit every rock and every branch on the way down and get up and say, cool. It's the ability to be jostled. Being spiritual is gaining the ability to be jostled more, not creating a protective shield around you because someone told you you have a porous aura. Cool. So that concludes our talk on propaganda today. I wish whatever fight you're fighting, I hope you will know. I only have one prayer for you. I hope you see all your options. I hope you see all your options. I can say this prayer for you and it will not fuck with the flow of your life. If you're supposed to rot in jail, finding another way, if you're supposed to be angry, if you're supposed to be peaceful, I hope that you see all of your options. But my job as a teacher is to show you the options that you forgot existed for your life. You don't have to go this way. And to gently question what you know to be true. Thank you. All right. Should we do some questions and answers? Lasha Mama. What a wonderful username. Lasha Mama. Sick. You got it. All right. You guys ready for some Q&A? Okay.
Ready?
Yes, I sure am.
How can I spiritually and emotionally protect myself, build financial and energetic sovereignty when someone uses fear-based control, spiritual intimidation, or even references MK Ultra style reprogramming to manipulate me? Is this a common tactic among toxic or narcissistic men in spiritual spaces?
This is a Long Island iced tea of neuroses, and I am here for it. You ever made a little Long Island iced tea, a little dash of this? So we have a dash of MK Ultra, a dash of narcissism, a dash of self-protection, a dash of this. Hunter S. Thompson told me about a drink called a glaucoma, and Hunter S. Thompson's policy was to take as many drugs as possible, but be seen drinking as much as possible in the airport so that people would assume that he was just drunk. And so Hunter has taught, usually when you make a Long Island iced tea, it's all of the clear liquors plus a splash of Coke. But a glaucoma Hunter S. Thompson special cocktail is all the clear liquors and instead of Coke, Kahlua on top. So it's heavenly. I love it. I'll never forget the night that I put the whole celebrity bar that I worked at on glaucomas one night. People were transcendentally drunk. but it's a little splash of every little bit of neuroses that we have going on here. So I'm going to give you one quote to really kind of live with, and that is, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. Repeat after me. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Now, we just had our big company retreat where everybody in our company got a promotion. So I got a promotion to author, Magic got a promotion to coach, Saraswati got a promotion to operations manager or chief of staff. We're still, I'd say don't give yourself a title because people will tell you what you do, but it's in that window. And Pure got a promotion to production and is now officially on the payroll. No more a la carte, baby. But something that I told my team a couple of times is that the most important thing, as my personal interaction with different customers is reduced so that I can focus on group offerings more and more. And I wanted to make sure that we never get into like a situation like Osho and Sheila, where, the chief of staff is like doing crazy things, or even, Hadi Jivan with Yogi Bhajan, like, oh yeah, let's do this crazy shit. Anytime people feel the need to protect the teacher, oh my God, someone's talking shit about you, I have to protect you. Oh my God, Antelope Valley is trying to kick us out, I have to protect you. Let's dose everybody. No good ideas come on the heels of this false notion that the person needs protection. I need protection like the ocean needs to be protected from Michelle. You got bad energy? I got space for that. You got ill will against me? That's fine. Do whatever you want. I really don't care, because here is the law. You have free will. People can try to coerce you. People can try to scare you. People can try to make you believe that a punishment is coming from you. And you might not realize, especially when it was your parents, you might not realize that this stink in the air isn't your fart. It's somebody else's shit from way back then. It's not coming from you. It can take a lot of self-awareness to take a deep breath and be like, where did I get this fear from? Was it my parents? Was it something I saw on the internet? Was it this person? But if it's not yours, you can put it down. Now, nobody can steal your power from you. Nobody can force you to do anything, but you can be coerced. But you don't need defending. At the end of the day, this is just your mind attacking you. Somebody put magic on me here. Somebody put hex on me there. Somebody put this on me, and a narcissist might be doing this. And all of that is just like your mind attacking you. And you can really go on and on and on about this. But the truth is that nobody can interfere with your free will. And anytime you are protecting yourself, Byron Katie says an act of defense is an act of war. You might be like, no, it's just defending myself. You're warring right now. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But every time you do your little protective spell, you're just saying, like, I'm reinforcing the fact that if I don't protect myself, someone will be attacking me. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. I don't need to be protected like that. It's all good. Now, are there protective measures that we take with our family on the internet? Oh my God, of course. We're conscious of our location. We're conscious of not giving our full names on the internet. But I'm not afraid that some stalker is going to like come to my house and stab me. I'm just trying to live a peaceful life here without people parked in front of my house. Like Ballerina Farm has people parked in front of their house all the time. They're like, oh. So in my defenselessness, my safety lies. I would get to the bottom of where this fear is coming from, recognize that it's not yours because it was never yours, and ask yourself, what would it look like to not be afraid of this anymore? Because this is anxiety based as well, I would also recommend doing the work of Byron Katie on it. So is it true? Is it true that somebody's put up these things and I need to protect myself? Can you absolutely be certain that it's true? How do I feel when I feel this thought? What vices are triggered? Who would I be without this thought? Now turn this thought around. I have put this hefty energy on other people, unless 3 instances where it's true. Byron Katie has an app that'll walk you through the work. Very easy. It's always these questions, and you can find that on your app store. Just look up Byron Katie. Solid app. I've had that on my phone for like 15 years. Let's do the next question.
How do I break sacral chakra bonds when I feel emotionally and sexually fused to someone who brought me chaos, obsession? Why do I still crave the intensity even when I know it's harming me?
Oh, what a really good question. So what does this person symbolize to you? What does this person symbolize to you? Was it sexual excitement? Was it maybe the first person that got you into the subspace? I believe that this conflict is not coming from a sacral bond, but is actually coming with grief that this person is no longer in your life. And you can be like, oh my God, what? They were such an asshole. Well, here's the thing about grief. Grief is conflicting feelings. So if they were purely an asshole, you would never think about them again. But you're not stupid. You would not have sat through every single day that you sat with this person if they were exclusively bad news. You'd have to be very stupid to do that. And you're not stupid like that. They were bringing something to the table. At some point, they were more than a busboy. A busboy doesn't bring anything to the table, it takes shit away. And this is what you're trying to categorize this ex as. Oh no, all they did was take away from me. No, girl, they brought something to you for a little bit. And this is what you're grieving. So do a painkiller, address it to that person, and move on. And just for fun, if you want to ask yourself, what did they symbolize to me? Like, what did I think I would only get if I was in a relationship with them? And maybe it's like excitement. That's what you crave, excitement. So seek out more excitement in your life. It can come in the most unexpected places, and keep moving forward.
Next one is about neutral market. I've been an editor and writer for smut fiction and sexual wellness for years.
An editor and one second, an editor and a writer for smut fiction. Okay, great.
I'm only now writing my own fiction book, and I'm worried that undermines my status as a teacher because clients I want to teach are doing the same as me as I build this. Do I have to wait until I'm done and it's out to build an audience as an educator, or do I bring them along for the ride as I'm learning?
Bring them along for the ride as you're learning. And I understand how triggering it is. Like for a long time, I didn't want to say my book idea online because I didn't want somebody to plug this book idea into AI and like steal my thing. The thing is that like my ideas come from my consciousness. I can't tell you how many times that people have ripped me off word for word. Like, I mean, like actually copy and paste. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen other authors getting all fucking pissed off online, drawing attention to the person that's ripping them off, platforming the person that's ripping them off, all while, you know, under the pretext of self-defense. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. And the truth is that nobody can steal your consciousness. It's your ideas. There's a billion more where that came from. It's not going to succeed for them. Why? Because stealing your idea is not furthering their conscious journey. It's not furthering their conscious journey. They'll never be able to replicate it. And it's never going to be good. And it's not going to come with wattage. Like, do you believe that there's something bigger, that there's a bigger consciousness that occurs beneath the surface of what seems to be all that exists, aka the seen world? Do you believe that there's an unseen world? Or do you think that that what you see is what you get, that there's no mystery, that there's no miracles, and that anybody could just copy and paste your words off of the screen and use it for their own good? Or do you believe that a conscious idea came through you because you're the only one that could do it justice? And how many times have you seen that like you had an idea and you didn't act on it and then somebody else built the same thing? That's different. You weren't doing anything with it, so it went somewhere else. This fear, this black magic that someone else is going to do something with it should be, we eat black magic here. Hablamos magia negra aquí. Well, comemos, but we speak all the magic here. And these fears of like someone's going to do something with this, that's not me, should really inspire you to do the best possible job you can on the quickest possible timeline that you can. Quit diddling. Let's go. Time to go. But regarding building neutral income, bring them along, bring them along, bring them along. Don't be afraid. And this fear that you have, other people are doing the exact same thing as me, especially with the amount of exposure to erotic fiction that you've had. Um, Especially with the amount of erotic fiction that you've read and stuff in your life, I would definitely use all of these fears as like your creative push to make something that's actually quite different. You've seen it all, so make something different. And Saraswati, if you could just screenshot who this person is, because I'm writing erotic fiction and I might want an extra set of eyes on it. Onward.
Mhm.
Yeah, in my
If
defenselessness, my safety lies is actually a quote from A Course in Miracles. And I talked because my first book was a translation of A Course in Miracles. And I'm like, level one, useful book. A lot of good quotes in that book.
if the ray of creation is an octave, do we know what God might have titled its Enneagram, or what his intention was in placing humanity on Earth as the second shock?
Oh, wonderful. Well, it's hard to say. God's an algorithm. And so we can calculate God, but God is so big that it breathes in and out the universe. So one breath cycle in the life of God, one breath cycle in the life of God, one in and out, something that takes you and me 3 seconds. God's inhalation and exhalation is the entire observable and unobservable universe. So to try to get into the mind of God, like, I'm not sure. And I'm not sure what God would have titled its Enneagram, because the Enneagram is 3 laws together: the law of three, the law of time, and the law of octaves. Now, the octave of the ray of creation is pertaining to the law of octaves. Now, why does humanity exist as a shock in between the notes mi and fa on the ray of creation? Because everything is trying to ascend. So the moon wants to be Earth one day, the Earth wants to be a planet one day, the planets want to be a sun one day, the sun wants to be one of the all suns one day. So very everything is climbing. But they're needed always in between the notes mi and fa. There has to be a shock for the octave to continue. So the function of humanity is to be able to process planetary influences. So what comes from above Earth, process what comes from above Earth on Earth, and send that energy to the moon so that the moon can grow. Kind of the same way that like a bird needs to chew up the food and spit it into the baby's mouth. The moon cannot directly, this is all fourth way speak. This isn't like I believe this, but this is just fourth way speak. And I think it's very interesting. But for people that have like hollow moon theory or whatever, I'm not saying that this is my job is to lay out options and you can take it or leave it. And humanity is actually like a side octave, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the moon wouldn't be able to digest planetary influences directly. So humanity, as part of the larger organism known as organic life on Earth, which has a 3.5 million lifespan, 600,000 years before reset, that's where we are in the cycle of organic life on Earth. Our job is to basically chew it up and spit it into the mouth of the moon so that the moon can grow and become an Earth one day. Now, anytime there's a shock, and humanity exists as that shock in between mi and fa, anytime there's a shock, it creates a side octave. So the side octave is the potential for man's psychological ascent. I say man, I mean humanity. So everybody has the ability to grow into like a superhuman being, like the level of conscious evolution that allows you to play this game so well that you truly, truly enjoy it, that you've never been happy for 24 hours straight. So you never had 24 hours of straight happiness. There was always some vacillation, some guilt, some shame, some it's not going to last. And the ability to play the game of life very well would be to to really be able to enjoy a full day, one day in your whole life. So that's the side octave that is humanity. Other parts of organic life on Earth, for example, trees, squirrels, fish, they don't have this ability to crave more, desire more, and gain more. And that desire for more, that craving for more, is very spiritual. It's very connected. Like we wouldn't have anything beautiful in life if it wasn't for this craving for more. But animals don't have it, only humans do. So are you going to use it? Do you want something? Are you willing to do the work to get it? Because if you have that combination of wanting something and being willing to do the work, like you can make this life however you want. But if you're saying that you don't want anything, you're just like a fish. Oh, if the food comes, I eat it. If the money comes, I spend it, but not actually creating anything in life, then, you're not really using everything that you have. And it's okay. Like, we need people that don't use everything they have, because there's a lot of jobs that you and I don't want to do that need to be done on a daily basis. And if everybody was craving more all the fucking time, nobody would want to do these jobs. But AI could do them. I'm just saying, there's plenty of space for your creative mission. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Let's do the next one.
I have finished week 3 of Mesoterica.
Yes,
and
you
finally-
did. Yes, you did, baby. Good job. Okay.
Finally, the Enneagram is starting to make complete sense. When it comes to the projects I have going on, is there a way I can go back and work out which point they are at, and what would be the best way to determine this?
Yeah, for sure. But at lesson 3 of the Enneagram, you're getting close. Lesson 4 is going to be like your first shock. For you, I would trust that it's all coming and that it's all on the way. And if you feel like the Enneagram is clicking for you here and now in Mesoterica, wait until you do the whole course of the Enneagram, because that's really like the deep dive onto it. And of course you can track all of your projects and their level of doneness on there, like, of course you can. But the Enneagram workshop is a deep dive on that. And depending on how much you have on your plate right now, if you're only doing Mesoterica, you could easily pick up the Enneagram. But if you need any help knowing what works, please just step over to onboarding, let my husband know that you have an interest in the Enneagram, and tell him what's currently on your plate, and we'll find a way of working that into your curriculum.
Okay. I'm having a hard time with figuring out who I'm judging on social media and what they have that I'm jealous of. The thing is, the loudest for me is people with a lot of plastic surgery.
I totally get it. I'm gonna stop the question there, because I feel you. We had such a beautiful flight attendant who like really looked exactly like Barbie, but I was so interested, and she was so nice. She was definitely a Libra. And I was so interested in like what she might have been a Sag, but I was so interested in what she might have looked like naturally, and I'm very like, I'm team natural all the way. Like, I don't even dye my hair. I'm not even cutting bangs again, because to me, like, going up against nature to cut something and have it grow back, cut something out, is just like so I have such a hard time with it. I was watching my husband shave his face and being like, you shave it and it grows back, and you shave it and it grows back. It's so like a thing. But I guess I do that with my legs and my fucking paunch once a year. But what is it? So somebody that is adjusting themselves with plastic surgery, if the rule is I'm judging, therefore I'm jealous. And I say, no, I'm not jealous, because why would I want to have filler that's traveling around my face? No, 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 no. Put it down. If you're judging, you're jealous, full stop. So somebody that is investing their time and their energy into plastic surgery has seen their beauty as being worthy enough of time and attention, and going in for regular procedures that are difficult, they're willing to spend pain and money to look a way that makes them feel great. And me, like, even working out for 30 minutes a day is a big deal. I hardly even get dressed to show up. And I can criticize these ladies for being high maintenance while praising myself, defending my supremacy for being like the lowest maintenance person that you can come around. But maybe I want a little maintenance. Maybe I'm so jealous that like these people can put so much effort into their appearance when I hardly even have time to brush my hair. These are my braids from last night. So that's what I'm jealous of. I'm jealous that people can be in this world where their beauty matters so much to them that they can really invest in it, time and energy, and maintaining it. And it's really pointing to me how I would like to not just squeeze my workouts in wherever I could fit them in and smear some blush on my face before showing up to a live stream, but actually have time to put myself together a little bit. That's what I'm jealous of, and it might be what you're jealous of too.
I'm wondering your opinion on the Enneagram of Personalities. Do you think it makes sense? Does it correlate at all to the real teachings of the Enneagram? Can they be taught together? Does that not make sense?
To me, calling the Enneagram a personality test is like saying that a pentagram is the Slayer symbol. You're like, oh, pentagram, Slayer, right? It's a sacred symbol. The Enneagram is a sacred symbol. And in the work of the fourth way, we are aware of the tension between essence and personality. And my opinion on it, it's a personal opinion, but my opinion on it, to take a sacred symbol that is an objective map for all creations, that's literally known as the face of God, and to turn it into a high chair off which we can feed our personality more and more fuel, as if this is the most important thing about us, when it's not. It's just so incomplete. And I understand that a lot of people have fun with the Enneagram of Personality, but it's just so much more than that. My recommendation, if you're interested in the Enneagram of Personality, is to watch the YouTube series that one of my favorite teachers, one of my favorite masculine teachers, and really wonderful if you have men that are looking for an interesting spiritual teacher. He's a Franciscan monk. His name is Richard Rohr, Rohr. He was the chaplain at the Albuquerque State Penitentiary for like 15 years. This guy knows a lot about the father wound. He knows a lot about masculinity. He's a beautiful speaker. He's a wonderful teacher. And he has just search Richard Rohr, the Enneagram on YouTube. It's like 8 hours total of lessons. Watch every single one. Work through it consistently. Don't stop at, because people will do this. They'll watch two. They'll say, oh my God, I know all about personality type 1 and 2. Everyone I know is either a 1 or a 2. That's just the limitation of your own understanding. Expand it, and you're going to come across one that makes you like twitch, that you're like, I hate this so much. And that's the one that you are. So a lot of people think that I'm an Enneagram 8 because they see me as because of how they see me, as being somebody that's like stirring the pot, controversial. Like, I don't see my things are only controversial if you are hearing them for the first time. I don't really see myself as being controversial at all, but it seems like everything I do is. And that's good. That's great for marketing, and that's great. I am who I am. But so a lot of people, I think that I'm an Enneagram 8 because of that, based off what they see of me. But what they don't see of me is this incredibly strong urge, need, like I must, of ambition. Super, super ambitious, have to be doing my best at all times. And that is the nature of the 3. That's what nobody sees about me, or doesn't fully see. You think you see a bit of it, but that's really like I'm in all areas of life, like so ambitious of making everything the best that it can possibly be. And the insecurities that come when I'm like, this is not what it could be, like blah, this like in huge drive to just be perfecting things at all times. And not perfectionism. Like, I know once I'm like, this is the best that it could be, good luck telling me there's a flaw in the system. When I've closed the book on what my best is, I'm like, you can fucking hand me your edits all day long. I don't fucking care if there's a typo in it, bro. Like, this is the best. I'm done with that. On I go. And that's the nature of the 3. I think the Enneagram can also be really useful if you're studying fourth way on your own. Is the Enneagram, when you know your Enneagram type, you can understand what your chief fault is. So the chief fault of the 3 is lying. And so I have to have radical transparency at all times, total authenticity at all times, honesty, especially when it comes to not knowing something, because the 3 will just pull something out of its ass and just lie and be like, and find a way to sell it. But for me, my journey to truth is radical honesty at all times, zero tolerance for lying, not allowed to lie about anything, because a little bit turns into a lot really fast with the 3 line. Sorry, not the 3 line, with the 3 point on the Enneagram. And understanding the Enneagram of Personality can help you understand what your chief struggle is. And that's a really useful piece of information to have. And I'm going to make sure that that goes in the Yes Master book. Saraswati, I have a feeling I'm going to need to start moving a little bit quicker through these, right?
That's right.
Okay, wonderful. Onward.
I feel really disappointed in my life. No matter what I do, it never feels like enough. I never feel like I get enough recognition. I feel bitter, a projector. I want more in my
Guess the
life.
chakra, everybody. Guess the chakra. Put it in the chat. I'm looking at you, Zoom. Tell me what chakra she's working with. Go ahead.
Nice. I feel if I had more clients and more money, I would feel more successful, but it feels like I'm failing at the moment, even though I am living the life I dreamed of years ago. I'm not sure if more money will fix it.
No, it won't. So anytime we're hearing the word enough, we're dealing with the second chakra. Anytime we're dealing with the word enough, we're dealing with the second chakra. More money will not fix it. You know why? Because enough is a concept. It's like a concept. So if I say I want to lose 10 pounds, that's one thing. If I say I'll never be thin enough, it's different. If I say I want $100,000, it's one thing. If I say I'll never have enough money, it's different. And so when somebody has this concept of enoughness, they're like, once I start making 20 grand a month, I'm going to feel different. It's not true. They get 20 grand a month and then their expenses rise to 20 grand a month and they find themselves in the exact same problem, but different. And this is actually all coming from the self. So for this person, you're dealing with scarcity. It's coming from the second chakra. The root cause of it is shame. Shame is not necessarily informed by sexual trauma, but if you have sexual trauma, you have to work shame much harder than the average person. Now, the best way to beat shame, especially in this situation, is going to be define what enough is in the areas of time, in the area of money, and in the area of love, because they all work together. These are the main three channels of receiving in your life. Define what not enough looks like. Give it an amount, a number. Define what enough looks like. Give it an amount, a number. And then define what more than enough looks like. Now you go from not enough to enough through your own hard work. You go from enough to more than enough through your own hard work. But the thing about being in this enoughness setting is that you can literally wait around to be saved or for the universe to determine that you're worthy. And you can spend your whole life waiting for a rescue that's never coming. But when you just establish with yourself, here's where I am and here's where I want to be. And you define, just say, I'm worthy. That's it. The end. Game over. I'm worthy. So what do I got to do to make it happen? Then you get yourself out of this stinking plateau that I personally lived in for like 25 years. So that's the way out of it. Recap, define not enough, enough, more than enough. Maybe read that second chakra chapter in Wheels Reinvented again. Bam, case closed. You're worthy. Now, what do you have to do to make it happen? Define it and get to work. Thank you. Chocrates, somebody's name is Chocrates. Isn't that smart? You should get my book, Wheels Reinvented. I think there's still copies on Amazon. I think that Amazon is just like, you're not allowed to unpublish your book. And since I'm only ever talking to God, I think God's like, you can't unpublish this book. It has to be available all the time. Because I unpublished that shit in June and Amazon's still printing copies and I can't do anything about it. But you might love my book, Wheels Reinvented. And Pure, if we do that, and I think it would be good for that thing that we just did to be a short, but let's definitely meet to plug my book and do God's work here in the world.
Do I need a customer avatar for each of my courses?
Yes.
I know.
All the time.
Oh,
and don't whine about it. Just do your customer avatar.
Right. I'm retaking the Enneagram class, and at point 3, you say a lot of people give up. Point 3 is where I put income. Point 6 is the people in the community, and 9 is the community. The question is, so I'm not stuck if I'm not making money. I'm only stuck if I can't stick to the ritual. Is that right?
Another Long Island iced tea we have here, which is great. Let's get twisted. But you have put income at point 3, which means that income is passive. Now, this is probably not the right configuration from somebody that's trying to monetize their community at I think that you've got your points wrong. Also, what's the title of your Enneagram? This is if your Enneagram is title, if, uh, so for example, uh, monetizing the community, you might not have a clear title there. Our usual thing is like adjective, verb, noun. So like monetizing the community, better monetizing the community, or monetizing my creative gifts for the community. These are, you probably have your configuration a little bit wonky here. I can give you just basic rule of thumb, but if you look in the homework checks that is attached to the Enneagram, we're not checking homework on that actively, but you can see all of the other, you're going to see a lot of Enneagrams in there that are pretty similar to this one that you're outlining. What you're most likely saying is that by putting income in the passive space, you're saying like, if it comes, whatever's in the passive space is going to be redefined. So when you put money in the passive space, especially when you don't have an existing business, so you can't actually build passive income, you have to build active first. You're saying like, if the money comes, great. If the money, it'll happen organically. That's a pretty like shitty place to have money be for that first turn. What I would do is put money in the active position, because the whole reason why you're wanting to do this is to make money. And then put the community in the passive space, because that means that the community will build as you grow, instead of being like, I have to build. If you have community in the active space, you're like, there has to be a community here, which can be really awkward. It's kind of like, oh, I'm going to throw a party and it's going to be so fun and you guys are going to love it. It's like, there's no guarantee that that's actually going to happen, but you could let the community build passively and then make sure that the money for definite is coming at 0.6. If you need money, and this is real, and it can be hard for spiritual people to accept that they need or even want money. Like at this point, it's going to cost you this much money at 0.6. If you put the money at 0.3, it's like, oh, what do you guys feel like paying? Oh, all right, we'll pay whatever you want. And eventually we'll have a group of people that are all paying different things. And maybe they start talking to each other. Oh, I pay $3 a month. Oh, I pay $10 a month. And it's all just going to be super weird. So let's not do that. And I would rework that. Check the Enneagram homework check. And yes, most people do quit at 0.3, but you need a clear name for your title. And I would definitely try this for your own self, but definitely try putting money at 0.6 and see where that moves the other compositions. And then try walking, we call it walking the clock. So walk through it. Does this make sense? We start here at 0. 0.1 looks like this, 0.2 looks like this, and then the community comes in. Does that math not work? Does it need to be, and then the money comes in? Walk it and make sure it makes sense chronologically. We won't make a short of this, because this is seriously all just Enneagram speak. We're deep in the game with this question. Thank you.
How long after starting your own trauma work did you start doing the wheels method on other people? I'm thinking of doing something similar, but I still feel it's too early in my journey.
So the way that all of my workshops, and just what's the testing process for me when I have a new method that I want to work, I always start first. Then I have free case studies, usually about 10, where I'm doing it on people for free. Then it goes to my one-on-one clients. Then it goes to small group. Then it goes to live group. Then it goes to pre-recorded group with additional Q&A. Then it goes into book form. That's the distillation from idea in my head into the completely passive version, which has no personal interaction for me whatsoever.
Is it common to have physical pain in a chakra area after working through the trauma?
No. No. And what we say in wheels, and what we always remind, is wheels is the psychological significance of the chakra. So anything somatic, pain in your hip, pain in your heart, this is not what we talk about. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that it's not my specialty. For somatic connections to chakras, look into Louise Hay. Even Anna Dea Judith talks about it, but in Wheels Reinvented, we work in the psychological.
Okay, next we have a manifester who is bored.
A manifestor who's bored will go start 10 things and see how you feel.
Well, hang on. I have a successful online business.
Great.
I know I should just make it more passive. I still have to show up on social media and sell, and I just don't fucking want to. Should I shut the fuck up and deal since I enjoy my high revenue? I'm low-key jealous of businesses that don't require someone to be the face of it, like a coffee shop. I'm exhausted being the face.
I understand. Here's the thing, your personal brand goes with you forever. And what you need is erotic wealth. The erotic's dead in your business, so you can't find a way to do it. You also know that it needs to be scaled, but you just can't do it. This is the difference between literally everybody knows what they have to do to scale their business. Just the difference between the amateurs and the experienced. I'll talk to you in just 1 second. The difference between the amateurs and the experienced is that the experienced find ways to stop putting out fires so they can actually do what needs to be done. But this is where erotic wealth comes in, because you need to fall back in love with your business and not burn it down. You also need to find ways to set it passive, and you can't find ways to set it passive until you find a way to fall back in love and with it. And the idea right now is like, oh, well, I made this business successful, I'll make a billion other ones successful. That's not true. A few special things are going to come through you, and it's your job to take it all the way passive. A master of leading teams, a master of hiring people to complete this system for you so you can start the next thing. And this is really what we need to do in erotic wealth, is like, you need to set it passive to be able to fund your next creative venture, which might be a faceless brand. But your personal brand, it's almost impossible to properly sell a personal brand. If you want to see an example of a really good way to do that, look up Blippi, the children's show creator, because that was almost an impossible personal brand sell, and he fucking did it, but he still comes in at shock points. But for you, erotic wealth, we're going to start doing that in September. You have to have a business already to be able to do it. If you do not have a successful business already, be interested, but put all your effort towards creating a successful business, because erotic wealth is advanced magic with advanced business tools. The two are proportionate, and you need to be able, you have to have quite a lot of experience in business. But I promise you, if you are this level of student, you're not going to be able to get something like this anywhere else, and it fucking delivers. 10 sessions only too. It's been compressed, so I'm very happy for you. I'm going to take a question. I'm going to take a question from Reiner real fast. What's up, kid? Hey, you going to work with me for a little bit?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Not today. That's cool. What's up? Were you going to ask me a question?
Yes.
Tell me.
I had breakfast over at my friend's house.
You did? What'd you have?
The croissant, you said.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah.
Did your friends like the croissants that we brought over?
Yeah.
I love to go over to someone's house with a food gift, especially if it's some type of a hot bread thing that's not spicy and not saucy, because you'd have to be crazy to not enjoy a nice warm croissant or a nice warm cheese straw or something. So how can I help you?
I don't know.
You looking for a little phone time?
Yeah.
Oh, so tell me how the routine goes. We go breakfast.
Yeah, I just had breakfast.
And screen time, and then outdoor activity.
I was outdoors using my ATV.
This is an updated I love this routine more. Breakfast, outdoor activity, then screen time.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we have to change the system.
I did an outdoor activity before.
Well, honey, enjoy. Yeah, what are you going to play? Mech Arena. Saraswati, you have frequent feedback from... Oh, no, it's this lady. Oh.
Yep, please mute. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Well, here, Saraswati, we have to mute them when we do this. So mute all. Allow participants to unmute themselves. No, mute all. Sorry, Saraswati, I thought that was your background. But if you have the ability to do that, do it when I forget. All right, next one.
Okay. Is opening a paid Substack subscription something worth doing if I'm still building my neutral audience? I want to keep articles free, and paid would give access to my freebies and office hours.
So I don't know about that, but what I've seen work consistently on Substack is a slow grow. The people that are most successful with it did it for free for quite a bit before monetizing, or they had very large neutral income. For example, Nara Smith. Nara Smith had an excellent plug to her Substack the other day, where she wrote behind a paywall how she really feels about having a fourth child. excellent time to go to create a paywall. You guys already know me, you already love me, but if you want to know the behind the scenes on this, it's going to cost you this. People also go really hard on Substack. Trying to monetize it too quickly is just going to push you down to the bottom of the list. I would, if you're focusing on building neutral income is free. Passive income is paid. I would establish the neutral income. But this is really a big decision for you, and you don't want to do it because someone else told you to. Somebody else gives you a piece of information that you say, you know what, that is in alignment with what I've researched and what I've felt, and make sure it checks out for you. And do more research if this didn't answer your question satisfactorily.
Can you share an example of how we can make an action plan using the Enneagram in coaching? Example, client wants a healthy, loving relationship.
We're going to pause on that. Developing your method using an Enneagram. We talk about this a lot. There's also the product development crash course. You would be using the same system. So I go into the workshops area, use the search job, the search bar, put in method Enneagram, put in product development Enneagram, and it'll come right up for you. It'll take you time, but yes. If you watch like the product development one is literally just like a text. Somebody asked me this, that was a one-on-one client, and I typed it up for them. You can find it like that.
I want to coach in Spanish and English. What are your thoughts on having 2 different Instagram accounts, one for each language?
So we actually were navigating this in our own business, and what we decided to do was use hashtags to keep Mami Onami in Espanol, so that people can find my Spanish content, also putting them all on a story highlight. But for our business, we decided that it was more of a fit to to not create a different, smaller room for a Spanish speaking audience to go to, but to regularly flex in English and also Spanish. There was the temptation to do everything, the same video twice, once in English, once in Spanish. But now we're just going to start our own conversation in Spanish. And if the English speakers don't like it, well, now they fucking know how it feels. Now they know how it feels. And in order to solicit content for Spanish, we put up a question sticker or a question post that we will post to the top. We'll pin it so that we can just asking people to ask us questions in Spanish so that we can respond in Spanish. That's how we navigated it. It's really up to you. But if, think about, we had a lot of this homework being checked in Fuckless. A lot of people in different parts of Europe where it's a specific language like Ukrainian, or Hungarian, where they're teaching in English because they want to please the algorithm, but really, like, their students speak Hungarian. I would really urge you to look at the audience you have, not the audience you think you should have, and speak their language. And if you can speak 2 languages easily, then find ways of doing it. If you look at Giselle Bundchen's Instagram, she doesn't do a lot of videos, but she always does her captions in English and then Portuguese. She just writes 2 captions. Ava Mendes, Ava Mendes, Ryan Gosling's wife. She's Cuban, and she does some in Spanish and some in English, but it's not duplicates. So you'll find the balance that works for you, but really think about the audience that you have and speak to them, which is why my English speaking content is going to remain the same. The videos that come forward in English are going to stay in English, but I'm starting a specific conversation in Spanish, and I am going to host that on my main page with a few different organization tools like hashtags and story highlights to be able to keep that in its spot. And with time, we'll do Q&As and stuff just in Spanish.
I've just finished the self-work on the Svadhisthana, and I'm not quite sure if what I've gotten to was a core trauma or just a smoke screen.
So we've been getting a lot of this kind of repeat question. In the book, we say, trust in what you get, trust in what you get, trust in what you get. In the book, we also say if the memory didn't occur before age 9, thank the memory for showing you what it is that you see. for showing you what you see, but say, I'd like to take this deeper. Can you show me the very first time I ever felt this way? But we really reiterate in the book, trust in what you get, trust in what you get. So Saraswati, if you could assemble that into a stock response, because I answer this question at least once a week, and it's not that I don't have space for it. It's just we really have, now that there's a book, like every possible question on that has been answered after 9 rounds of testing.
Okay. If black magic doesn't exist, then is karma not real?
Karma is not what you think it is. Karma is something that you're doing to yourself. Did she say black magic doesn't exist?
Yeah,
But black magic does exist.
right.
But black magic, okay, so first of all, black magic does exist and we use it, and it's being used all of the time. All politics are black magic. It definitely exists, but it's not evil. Now, karma is also something you probably have a misconception about. Karma is your like proclivity to go towards the same painful thing over and over because it's familiar to you, but not necessarily what's helpful for you. Karma is something that you're doing to yourself and that you can undo for yourself. Karma isn't something that someone else puts on you. One of my favorite books is actually Karma by Sadhguru, and I love it because he reads the audiobook, but he also, it says, because of his accent, the V's kind of sound like W's. So I love it when he says wasana or vision, and I love it.
Can you recommend any standout sex educators or coaches?
The book,
Resources,
the book
books?
Existential Kink is really good. But my research, if you want, I can show you my bookshelf. And some of, because I have a whole sex magic section on my bookshelf, but they're seriously like, well, actually no, because they're all assorted, but I can just off the top of my head, Modern Sex Magic by William Randolph, Isis Magic, Isis Unveiled. There's a lot. There's all of the Gina Thomas Howard books. There's a lot. You know what? I'll take you. I'm gonna take YouTube down there real fast. We'll take a screen. And Instagram. You want to come too? We'll just look at my sex magic bookshelf, and you guys can take a screenshot of that really fast. Saraswati will give that to them. 1 second. I'm not done yet. I'm just taking a picture of my bookshelf. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Okay, let's see. Let's turn the lights. Oh, let's turn this around. 1 and a 2. Okay, here's my library. And here is my sex magic. Whoa, sliding on my sliding chair. Okay, so this is level 1, sex magic. Those are all the Dion Fortune books. And then this, okay, sorry guys. Sex magic books here. Second sex magic books up here. I haven't read A Return to Eros, by the way. And then a little bit over there, and I think that's it. Yeah, Kabbalah down here. Yeah, I would say that this is really like the sex magic section. And I've read all of those except for A Return to Eros. Cool. All right. A Return to Eros is that teacher, Mark Gaffney. That's like Aubrey Marcus's teacher, who's like, yes, Eros is the most important thing in your entire life. Whatever your dick wants is king. And that's literally like something a child believes. Because I remember my son said to me like 2 years ago, he goes, Mom, did you know that my dick is the king of my body and that my legs just exist to lift up my dick? And I was like, wow. I was like, some things never change. I was like, glad you feel that way. But that's literally whatever you sexually crave is the most important thing, and everyone needs to be talked into. All right. Yeah. Let me know when you have kids.
I'm starting a business for the first time from nothing.
Okay.
I'm doing the ritual on day 2.
Good. And let me guess, you don't want to do it?
Yeah. This is in the ritual. This happens in the later days of the ritual. When should I launch and start marketing myself? When should I initiate the legal process?
Well, legal process, I don't know where you're at yet. I'm not a legal advisor. but you can watch the call with our accountant and business resources. Sooner you're an LLC, the sooner you're, you'll have to pay more taxes, but that's all covered in the call with my accountant, which is old but still very valuable. Ritual, when should you launch? Start that social media today. But you can't just go onto social media and say, hey, everybody pay me, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You have to build trust with your audience first, and that takes time. So start that social media account now. Start building that neutral income. Learn about active, passive, and neutral income, which is an upcoming lesson for you in the ritual, and just keep going forward and just focus on the ritual. What's their human design?
Manifester.
Don't see that, just do the ritual all the way through to the finish line, because the inertia that you have for it, like right now, I can't wait to start everything, I'm loving it. You might not have that same level of energy on day 13, so you're going to need to just work your way all the way through the ritual, even if you want to start a billion different things. And the 0 to 40K, if you want extra, 0 to 40K strategy, 40 to 500K strategy, that's the only additional work that I would put on it. And, come and play at Q&A, but don't take on any more workshops until you finish that one, because that's the one thing you really need. Nothing else, no spiritual education. You're not ready for advanced business. And if you need to take a integration break after ritual to actually just put stuff out there, yeah. If you need to know more about social media, Fuckless Express. But if you're just starting a business, those are the only two business resources that are going to be able to help you right now in this first year, is Fuckless Express and Ritual. Thank you. That also is her homework check. So please let her know that this response to her right here is also her homework check. She doesn't need to turn it into magic. Okay. And we're getting them screenshots of that bookshelf, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Hey, welcome to Hell Podcast. I love, just so you guys know, one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done is my episode of this Welcome to Hell podcast. So definitely go and check it out, or look up on YouTube, Mommy Onami Welcome to Hell podcast. It was Dante's Inferno coded, but we just had such a great time. When I like, teaching is like breastfeeding, and so it's a combination. It feels so good when your boobs are like busting with milk to be able to nurse your baby and have all of that pressure be released. A good student with good questions and a sincere desire to know more is like the best combination. It's great for me and it's great for them. And that was a great podcast. So thanks again to Welcome to Hell podcast for having me. And if you go and you watch that episode there, please get really loud in the comments and the shares and say, Mommy Onami, please come for a round 2. We demand a rematch. Thank you.
In the past, I've had an unconscious pattern of fawning or having sex for approval instead of following my desire.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm aware, I'm working on changing the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I had a fling, but when he touched my pussy for 2 seconds, I started having a panic attack. My question is, what the fuck? Because I believe in a friendly universe and not a cock-blocking universe. How do I change this pattern?
Well, how do you know that a friendly universe and a cock-blocking universe are like different things? Like, why are they in conflict with one another? Now, of course, like you said, you're learning. And no, none of us, it's so embarrassing to be like, well, at least for me, it was embarrassing to like, I remember a guy spanked me one time and it really was not, and I went to not the place that I wanted to be. And I don't love, being, when it's sex time, that's not the look that I want to have. So for me, it was a pain in the ass. I'm not saying that it's a pain in the ass for you, but for me, it was. Learning, growing. Why do you think that happened? What do you think was the deal with this person? Do you think it was just, or do you want to have a repeat with them? Do you like them? Are they weird? Is there something off about them? What's the deal with why? Like, here's what I want to know. Because you had a panic attack, you were not able to have sex. Is there any way that you didn't really want to have sex? It just seemed like the next right thing to do at that time. And is there any way that a panic attack, no matter how off brand it might have been for how we wanted the night to go, is there any way that was the only way you could see yourself getting out of it? It's just stuff to examine. I'm not putting that on you, but it's something to explore, because learning is learning. So you're learning, I'm learning. I've had experiences like that. Other people have had experiences like that. It's all right. It's what you do next that matters. So let's keep going.
Is it okay to do wheels teacher training and fuckless simultaneously to build and launch my somatics course?
It is. It's a pretty hefty workload. It's pretty hefty workload. But I think that they could definitely be done simultaneously. Yeah, I think yeah, for sure. What's their human design?
Manny Jen.
It doesn't matter what you start, it matters what you finish. So can you finish them both? And are you at a stage? And so here's the thing. Fuckless express is if you do not have any active income selling your time in exchange for money. So if you do not have an income coming in from one-on-one or doing personal, my time in exchange for your money, if you do not have any of that set up, then you can do Fuckless Express alongside Wheels Reinvented. And when you're ready for passive income, you can come around and do the full version of Fuckless. But if you are ready for passive income, then you would need to do the full version of Fuckless. And you could do that alongside Wheels, but they're both quite hefty workshops. Thank you.
If nothing is outside of us, how do divination tools work? Do spirit guides and archangels exist?
I don't really like this question because for people that are in the world of like spirit guides and archangels, we answered this question before about how I love mediums, but where is the message coming from with mediums? These gifts I don't like to look too closely at because, yeah, we could shut everything down, but would there be magic? So, my question to you is, do you like hearing from your spirit guides? Do you like meeting with psychics and mediums? And if you do, enjoy it. Don't stress yourself out with are people just making this up? Because I've had mediums tell me things about dead friends. My friend Mary Greasy is a medium, and that's the only medium I've worked with in the last 4 years. We've had 2 sessions. That's how much mileage I've gotten out of it. But she's so she knows things about my dead friends that no one else could have told her. So I just enjoy it.
What chakra is about neediness and attachment? I get attached to guys very easily
chakra.
and start daydreaming.
Second chakra.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How do you think about Christianity overall with the fourth way? One is an enlightenment path and the other is not. How do we hold both?
That's not true, that one is an enlightenment path and the other one is not. In the fourth way, we talk about the sage, the saint, and learned saint and sage. Christianity has 3 levels. So Christianity, Gnosis, God, direct. Christianity is a path to enlightenment. Now, the fourth way is not a theology. There's no God. So it's just calculations. It's just different things. I could never say that one is better than the other. They're just different. The same way Christians would be like, oh, Christianity versus Hinduism. Just world religions, different world religions. Christianity is a major world religion. There's a lot of those. Take it or leave it. But we don't need to criticize any of them. And I just noticed that Kat Von D went to Orthodox now too. She went from, I think she was Lutheran or maybe Episcopalian, and went to Orthodox. And Bauhaus Wife is also really loving the Orthodox Church. And, it seems it's very goth. I think I understand why people like it. Who's up? I hate it when people pick up their arms, but I'm starting to get tired from Q&A. How many questions do we have left? It's because I did a 45-minute intro, 15 minutes of work, followed by a 25-minute intro on propaganda. How many more questions do we have roundabout? 4? Oh,
4.
Okay, send it. Okay. Let's do it. Wiley, are you going to help me with my last 4 questions? Let's consult the unicorn. I'm talking to Saraswati and Pure.
Yay.
You wearing clothes? Not just any ordinary outfit, but your special unicorn dress. Hi, my girl. I've got Saraswati here, who is just absolutely feeling your, look at that. She's loved that dress. You want to say hi?
Hi, it's Saraswati.
Hi, Wiley.
And we also have Pure over here too, who we love. I ran into someone that was calling you Pierre. And I said, his name is Pure, but then I think that he might say Pure in a way that sounds like Pierre. It was Graham that you trained with. And I was like, his name is Pure. And he goes, yeah, Pierre. And I was like, okay. So, but I love this. Like, all, so we have Sarah Watsy, we have Omani, but I think we also might have Pierre.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't you precious? Okay, next question. Oh, my girl.
Ballerina cappuccina.
Ballerina cappuccina. What's the Trollolero one?
Tralelero, tralala, pucotio, pucla.
What a gift to be with you. What a gift to be with you. I was running out of, look at how long your hair. I love your hair. You and Pierre kind of have a similar hairstyle going.
But he has no hair on the top.
Oh my God, you guys. Wiley, I have to tell you, Wiley had me cracking up at the airport. So we're waiting in San Jose. We're sitting on the floor, and sitting at the chair right next to us is this like very made up woman, in her airplane outfit. And Wiley and I are just kind of sitting on the floor doing our thing. We'd been sitting next to this lady for a really long time, and all of this, Wiley looks up so loud. Oh my God, this lady is literally crazy. She's got the face of a grandma on the body of a human, and was like, and it's true, like this lady did have very much like the face of a grandma, but her body was very young and like very tan. Her skin was like nice and everything, but luckily the lady didn't speak English, but Wiley was just. Do you remember that lady, Wiley? Did you like her makeup though? Let's ask the unicorn. All right, let's do our last 4 questions.
Could you speak on growing into the person who can handle what we want, more income and a relationship as a single woman? How do we grow into that version?
So that is the whole premise of erotic wealth. Like that is exactly what I have in the definition of the customer avatar. Like it helps you to step back and see the bigger vision of where you want to go and help you grow into that person that can handle more. The person that you want to be has completely different habits than the person you are today. Totally different habits, totally different boundaries, says yes to completely different things, says no to completely different things. And if you start adopting, like people are like, oh, you have to embody the person you want to be. What they're saying is that version of you has a schedule, has habits. It's not feeling that way in your feelings. It's like doing those behaviors. So what is the morning routine of the person that has the level of business you want to have, and the level of commitment that you want to have, and the level of parenting that you want to have, and adopt those behaviors now? That's what it is. And it should be very tactile. Do they work out first thing? How long do they meditate? How much business do they do per day? When do they turn their phone off? And learning the habits of other successful people, not reading like, the 7 habits or whatever. I haven't read that book, but I have read The Speed of Trust, which is written by that guy's son. But role models in your field, like for me, even though Rick Owens is in fashion and I'm in spiritual education, Rick Owens' routine and the role that going to the gym and stuff plays in his life is really inspirational to me. Next question, please.
Unicorn. My 28-year-old daughter is a 5'1" Manny Gen with emotional definition.
Unicorn horn.
She has come to me for guidance with her repeated attempt at kicking a decade-long relationship with antidepressants. She's trying so hard, and I love her. She lives in a different country. I wish I could hug her. What is your insight?
I just want to honor that you love her so much, and it's hard to see her in this way, and that you're doing everything that you can to help her out, and surrender to that feeling, when your heart feels like it's bursting and you just wish that you could. And is there any way you could, is there any way you could go and hug her right now? Is there any way that you could make it happen? But I just want you to surrender to these feelings that you have. And by surrender, I mean accept that you're feeling this way. I'm worried about her. She's been trying to kick this for a really long time. It's been a hard struggle. I wish I could hug her. I love her so much. Don't try to solve it. Just accept that you feel this way. Accept that you love her a lot and that's hard for you to see her in this way. Next question, please.
Unicorn. I'm attracting a lot of women that love my work but have no money. Any tips?
Yeah, for sure. Teach them about money. Teach them about money. And this is always like wonderful that you have a market there of people that really want to learn about money. I would give them a workshop just on money. And if you want some examples of how we do that as a funnel, you can always just look at what we did with Ritual. You were probably there. Look for emails that you got from us in the month of December. We gave them a month of social media talking about money in the month of December. We gave them the 8 reasons why you have no money, or the 8 most common money blocks on YouTube. We followed that up with a wealth masterclass where we drew the parallels between spiritual growth and financial growth. And then we gave them a 40-day boot camp on money. But we didn't give them a 40-day boot camp on money. They paid us, and they paid us what? Oh my God. Pure just changed his background to be a unicorn. Oh my God. Are you flipping out? So yeah, we'll choose to lead by example with that one. But when you have a whole bunch of people saying the same thing, it's like the easiest way to guarantee sales because everyone needs it. And good for you for attracting a lot of women that want money. They might say they need money, but do they want money? Because the difference between needing money and being like, well, the universe isn't saving me, versus I want money and I'm willing to work for it. So you might need to convert, and that would be the point of your social media, to convert your clients from people that need money and like complaining about it and hope the whole world will change to support them, versus accepting that they want money and they want to be rich and are willing to work for it. Next question, please. Is this the last one?
Last one.
All right, last one, and then I can go get my tiger. Okay. Last question, Dad. Okay.
Do you have any tips for content that does great but does not follow any trends that's evergreen?
Yes. The Joe Rogan podcast. The Joe Rogan podcast grew to be like the #1 podcast, and then he became an even more, important spokesperson. COVID really just completely repositioned him as a place to go for information. But the Joe Rogan podcast defied every logic of what would work. They didn't have a jingle. It was unscripted. It was very long. It was very, and it completely dominated. It completely dominated the market, but it defied every logic of what people thought might work for a podcast. Cool.
Okay, you're eating the lollipops, Swati.
Yeah. All right. Is it time to? Who do we have coming in? Do we have Dad? Are we going to be? Is it going to be Mommy and Daddy and the
It's
girls?
a lollipop.
Smells like
There's
a
a
woman in
lollipop
here.
coming in.
Come here. Come sit on us. Hey, Tiger.
You're eating a lollipop.
Open up the window.
Who do we have here? Hey, look at us. Does anyone have a question for Wiley on Instagram? Hey, baby. Hi, everybody. Hi. A lick for Ty. A lick for Ty. Well, we love you all so much. Thank you so much for coming to Q&A today. We had a wonderful time answering your questions. We had a great time talking about propaganda. We had a great time. And now should we sing a unicorn song or anything to end?
Now I'm the suckery.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
hi.
not gonna be feeling
Yeah,
it probably.
it's Gooey's nap time.
Yeah.
All right. Love you
Now
guys
licking,
so
now
much. I'm
licking.
going to categorically shut you
Ah,
down.
kiss.
Wiley, say bye to Instagram for me. Bye, Instagram. Bye, Instagram. And now we're going to go, bye, YouTube.